I'm going to post this video in our page, which is focused on different topics, all about our society and political point of views. And as someone that who has kind of interest to become part of political movement in the future, so that's why our first book is, which you can see here. I talked to a little bit about it, and our next book, which is going to be English, Spanish, and Maya's language, and I talk about the democracy, what it really means for us as indigenous people, as Native American people. And I describe in our next book that all the votes should be counted by hand, manually, not by computers. Computers is controlled by humans. It's controlled by groups that they have a big interests. So that's why we should never trust about the computers. Even if they say that it's secure or it's this, it's that, no, it's controlled by government. It's controlled by a big interest in each country. So that's why Trump is demanding the recount and all of this. But I think it's interesting, to my knowledge, that President Trump is using this moment to hide himself behind all this movement, because he knows that after January 20th is going to be as a private citizen. He will become as a private citizen, and he knows that he will face some legal demands about his tax, about the problem he has with women before. So he's using this moment to create supporters, and then he will argue that all these demands against him is because he exposed the electoral fraud, which is a false statement. He knows it, but he's just trying to gain more supporters. So I think it's interesting that he at this moment he hasn't conceded, but he will legally, because there is the red line. I think December 14th, there is the red line that all 50 states, they're going to certify the winner, which is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But today we saw that so many years that the night of the election and the next day we know who won or who's going to be the president. At this moment, before Thanksgiving, pretty much the transition of power is kind of going smooth, but at this moment is kind of creating problems between Republicans and Democrats. So I think that it's important that I hope all these prominent politicians in Washington can sit down, because this country, it has an impact on everything. In so many countries that they look at us, at the United States at this moment, what's going to happen on January the 20th, the swearing of the new president of the United States. So I hope all the citizens stay calm and stay organized, and we must stay united at this moment of crisis, because I take this as a crisis, just like the pandemic. But Trump, he doesn't, I think he will face some demands, but he's going to create problem to the next administration, because I think in the history of the United States, no or former president has been persecuted for what he has done. But I know he has done some tough, bad stuff under his administration. But as a private citizen, he has some tax problems. He has some legal problems with women that have challenged him in courts in New York. So that's the problem. As a private citizen, the law should apply to everyone, to every citizen. So after the January the 5th, after January 20th, President Trump, he will be a private citizen, and I think we're okay. We are okay if he faces a couple of years in jail for what he did as a private citizen, not as a president of the United States. But that's why he's using this moment, that he's gonna make an argument in the future that they trying to lag him because he exposed the election fraud. And then and now that some news outlets, that they've been saying that he's gonna run for next elections, which is 24th. He will try to come back as a president of the United States. So that's why he's doing this type of action, legal action, for recount and creating a conspiracy against the institution, against the United States institution, that who has planned the election during centuries. And he will tell his supporters, see, they trying to lock me up, or they trying to jail me because I exposed them, and because they don't want me to run. They don't want me to be a candidate again. So that's why he's using this moment to benefit himself. But stay tuned in, guys. Stay united and never divided. And I hope peace and harmony to all of you. And happy Thanksgiving.